Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine and your host of the RodCAST, brought to you by Lucas Oil. Today, I am joined by my co-host, Greg Acosta, editor of Engine Labs, and the all-around tech guru. What up, Greg?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Ready to get into another fun-filled episode where you and I and Rob all get to build some very cool cars and compare them. This time, as you know, we got a little bit of a different system. We're going to kind of score things. That way, it'll be a little bit more diplomatic with our results. But
yeah, and honestly, I think that's going to be kind of cool because not only is it a way to kind of compare and give hard numbers, but it's also a way to compare. I think if we've done this right, it'll be a way to compare not like cars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Different classes of cars.
Exactly. Because what we were trying to figure out in the last time we did this with the regular GT Mustang and the Scat Pack Challenger and the SS Camaro, we were basically trying to figure out like which one was the best value for like the performance that you're getting, or the car that you're getting rather. And it was basically just us kind of building the car virtually and then giving our opinion, which is great, and it'll essentially be the same thing, but it will give us metrics for measurement. That way we can actually have a better idea of not only, which car wins, but what our perception of value is.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the cool thing. It still allows for some, personal opinion while being able to quantify everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's ultimately it's all personal opinion, but it's based on the facts that we're going to look up. We'll get into it more once we bring Rob on, so I don't want to give too much away. But if you're tuning in, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. While we have you, do me a favor. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It really helps us out. And if you're so inclined, please drop us a comment in the comment section below and let us know, what we're doing right, wrong, what you want to see, who you want to see us talk to, what cars we should build next, things like that. We get in there and we respond. We're pretty active in the comment section. Without further ado, I say let's go ahead and jump into this episode. But before we do, a word from our sponsors.
Performance parts for your American Classic are available from POL at performanceonline.com. POL is the perfect upgrade for your classic car or truck. Whether you're hitting the strip or going on a road trip, POL's performance braking, steering, suspension, fuel injection, exhaust, radiators, rear ends, and more are top notch and can be seen in our showroom floor. Cruise on down to our show-stopping showroom and take a look at our brand new Blackout Series parts, or order POL parts from performanceonline.com and have them shipped straight to your garage.
What up? I'm with the boys. What's going on, guys?
Hey, fellas. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How are you, Rob?
I am doing well. I've got Jackson, the muscle car puppy, here on my lap, and
nice.
He's very comfortable, and I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day out by the beach. It's like 75 degrees, a little breeze.
I hate you.
Oh yeah, I forgot where you are, man.
We haven't gotten the monsoons yet to cool things off, so
is the tarmac melting in the shade there, or what?
Well, I can tell you right now from my desk that the inside of my shop right now is 103.6 degrees.
Ouch.
That's the insulated side.
Ouch.
I went down to pick up my block on Tuesday, and strapping it into the back of the truck, I about died. Because I'm an idiot and I refused water. So,
nice.
yeah.
That's rough, man.
Yeah,
that's rough. It's going to get hot even out here where we're at, Rob. But not yet. Not yet.
The rest of the country, for some reason, is sweltering, and we're doing just fine. So.
Yeah, but you got to move out of California, Rob. You got to get out of there. No, I'm fine right where I'm at.
Expensive, and the taxes are ridiculous, and the gun laws are to a large degree ridiculous. But other than that, we got it made in the shade out here. So
yeah, you're not kidding, man. I get to ride my motorcycle 11, almost 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So not bad.
you know, the one complaint I have, or the real complaint, are the restrictions that they tried to pass regarding modifications to cars in California. A lot of viewers out there might not know this, but about a year ago, they passed a law about what was it, Vinny? You couldn't have it wasn't that you couldn't have an aftermarket exhaust, but it couldn't exceed a certain decibel level. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, and
the
decibel level was so low that they were proposing that it was like,
interfering with some stock exhaust, like on Hellcats and
exactly.
I just saw a report over the weekend that the new Porsche 911, I don't remember, was that the 996 or something?
No, 996 is an old one. You're talking about the new GT3?
Yeah, the manual version can't be sold in California because it's too loud.
Right. Well, it's got straight pipe on it. And,
oh no.
Yeah. Well, they don't like loud noises in California.
I know. I got my fix-it ticket when I lived in California, and I had to go get it signed off.
When that legislation was first pushed, I wrote a pretty spicy op-ed about it, and I got a lot of feedback on that article. A lot of people commented on that article. I would say like 95% of them were in favor of what I was saying, and the other 5% were, well, I live with my elderly parents, and they made this law just for me. And I'm like, right. Okay, buddy,
Well, that's why active exhaust is awesome, because I mean, like,
sure,
I don't have to piss off anybody in my neighborhood unless I want to.
Sure.
And then I can hear the car whenever I want.
Right. Right.
Hey, speaking of active exhaust, I think that's an option on several of the vehicles that we're going to talk about in the forthcoming episodes of the RodCAST.
Yeah.
For fans of the show, new fans, welcome. Anybody who's tuning in, you guys might have seen some previous episodes where we built 3 prolific muscle cars, virtually, of course. And we spec'd them out using their respective websites, Dodge, Ford, Chevy. And we kind of ranked them in an unofficial way and voted on which one won best value for performance.
We more like we argued, but...
yeah. Well, we came to a loose agreement, and everybody was somewhat biased in their opinion. But anyways, we're going to continue that trend, and we're going to virtually build some more cars for you guys, because it seemed like you kind of like that. So this time we're going to tackle those big 3s, most prolific muscle cars. Wouldn't you guys say?
If not most prolific, most performance oriented.
And yeah, you got to add that muscle, because I think there's a level, at least for Ford and Chevy, there's a level above everything we're going to do, but they're not muscle cars.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure we'll get into that, but we haven't decided which car we're going to build yet today. We wanted to kind of vote on that on camera, or maybe we could do like rock, paper, scissors or something. But
rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Lizard Spock. You're gonna have to explain that one.
Big
right?
Bang Theory. It's Big Bang Theory.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
But we are going to use a new, interesting kind of scoring system, right? So last time there was some contention on all sides as to who was the true winner. And so we wanted to be a little bit more diplomatic. And so we assigned a scoring system. And I guess I'll go over that with you guys right now. So once we've spec'd out these cars, each of us will score the cars based on a set of criteria. And they'll be judged between a 0 and 5 scales with 6 or 7 different categories. I'll read them to you now. So the first is horsepower and torque. The second is handling, and that could be subjective depending on who's grading that specific attribute. So Rob, you might care about Nürburgring times, and Greg, you might care about skid pad G's. So it just depends. The third factor would be comfort, convenience, interior amenities, things like that. The next would be aftermarket support. Then the next would be price, followed by availability, exclusivity, status, collectability. And then we move on to looks, and finally an X factor. So that might be something that's not listed in the aforementioned criteria. So it could be that, I don't know, Rob likes the Challenger Hellcat because it's got, you know, a milk frother in the center console. I don't know, whatever.
A milk frother. For
anyway, yeah, exactly.
It uses the heat off the exhaust manifolds to
basically it's anything that's not.
I think the supercharger on a Hellcat would froth milk pretty well.
yeah, you're not kidding.
Just dump some milk down the inlet and then see what happens.
Yeah.
So I think I did a fairly good job explaining that. Are you guys with me? 0 to 5, all those criteria that I just mentioned. And we'll each present our points at the end of the episode. And then, Greg, you'll help me out here. We wanted to make it fair, right? So, like, as we progress, we want to do this with more cars. And so we thought about dividing the collective scores, right? Like, whatever our scores are combined, add those together, and then divide them by the price of each car, giving us the final score for that car. With this challenge, I don't think it's going to play as large of a factor, but in future episodes, when we build cars that are a little bit, you know, if you're comparing, yeah, exactly. If you're comparing a Corvette to a Ferrari in performance, they might be close, but in price, obviously the Corvette's going to come in at a much lower price point. So,
well, it'll end up speaking to value in that respect, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, one of the things that people love about American Muscle is that you can get Ferrari, you know, engine performance in a Hellcat or a ZL1, you know, for a fraction of the price of.
You'll never get the sound.
And you know, in the case of like an 812 super fast Ferrari, you're not going to get that V12 that the Ferrari has. But nonetheless, I mean,
you're giving away too much of our future episodes.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, so now that we've kind of established that, let's figure out which car we're going to build today. Of course, if we're talking about the best cars on the pantheon of muscle, we have to be talking about the ZL1, the GT500, and the venerable Hellcat. So, how do we decide which one we build today?
Oh, do we have a wheel to spin, or?
Oh, yeah. All right, we can do it. We can do a spin wheel.
All right. You know, I thought we were just going to choose the GT500 because it's the best. Let's.
Oh, here we go.
Put our best foot forward, right?
It begins early with him, with Greg.
It does. I mean, yeah.
Okay, let me make this thing real quick.
Although I will say, like, I do have to be honest, the ZL1 looks so good.
Yeah, Greg, I mean, you know, if you're firing the 16-inch guns right out of the gate here, we should mention the fact that 2 of the 3 cars were American muscle cars are available in stick shifts. And one of them isn't.
Well,
shots fired.
But DCT still uses clutches.
Greg, we talked all about that last week with Will Beatty from Center Force, an authority on manual transmissions, and he says that that's not a manual.
No, it's an automatic. It's an automatic clutch.
Yeah, if there ain't 3 pedals in my car, I'm sorry, it's not a manual. Greg,
does the GT500 have a lever emergency brake, or is it a pedal? Because that might count.
Really?
Oh, it's a button now. It's a button now. Okay.
All right. All I can say is there's no torque converter. So,
Greg, I need you to relinquish your control over the Zoom meeting so I can share my screen.
It's not letting me let you. What? Wait, hold on. Oh, there we go. They Zoom updated, so there we go. You're good.
All right. I think you really want that GT500.
Yeah. We're learning things about Greg.
I do want a
his
GT500.
control issues.
All right, here we go. Here we go, gentlemen.
Okay.
Let's see.
Weird colors.
Spin the wheel.
Do.
Well,
Yes.
Okay.
ZL1.
All
All right,
right.
it's a good place to start.
I'm happy to start with the ZL1. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think the ZL1 looks amazing.
I can just close these two tabs. Boom. All right.
Let's get going.
Let's jump into it.
Can I make a suggestion? Last time, no? Okay.
What's up, Rob?
I'm the guest. I can make it. I should be able to make a suggestion, right? Well, last time, we all had definitive ideas on our favorite colors and whatnot. Why don't we, just for giggles, change up the color selection every time,
Well,
we don't have to do shock again, Rob. I get it.
I mean, it wasn't that I was offended by shock or anything. I just think it'd be nice to, see another color.
Okay, you guys decide. Let me know.
I actually think that part of the discussion shouldn't be a color, but the color palette available.
Of course, yeah.
Because obviously, but we all agreed that Go Mango was a great color on the Challenger. Let's do something else this time when we get to it. Yeah,
you got it. Okay,
right.
So
coupe.
Starting with the coupe, of course. Convertibles are cool, but not for the ZL1.
Do they make a ZL1 convertible?
I think so. Yeah, they do.
Yep.
You can get a ZL1 convertible, which would be cool, but not for me. Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess we could vote. We could vote on it. What do you guys think?
No, I don't want a convertible.
I'm with a coupe. I always prefer a coupe in a muscle car than
it's actually really funny this comes up today, because today in my memories on Facebook came the 2009 GT500 convertible that Ford gave me for a week at Milan.
Right.
And I was so bummed to have a convertible because I don't like
Hey, my last rare rides that came out just like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago was on the rarest Shelby's Mustangs, which were the 66 GT350 convertibles, which they made 4 of. And, it's an amazing car, and the story behind how the convertibles came to be was really cool and everything. But I was thinking to myself, writing that article, I would have gone with a fastback on that car every single time, even though the convertibles are, worth, figures.
That's like the unfair part, right? Like the coupe is cool, but if you compare it to a convertible, it depends for me on the day, right? Like, so if it's a beautiful day, I'm right near the coast, you might convince me to take a convertible, but if you put it up against a fastback, it's never going to win.
No, it's never going to win. And what's more, whenever I see a Camaro, Mustang, Challenger's not available in a convertible, but if I ever see a Mustang or a Camaro convertible on the road, I instantly think rental car. Especially in California, because I don't even think they'll rent you a hardtop Mustang in California. They're like all convertibles.
Dude, they were selling those Hearst Camaros, the coupes, for a while. I wanted one so bad. Those 6 gens, did you see them?
I did not. I wasn't even aware Hearst did an edition.
They were awesome. They were like black with yellow stripes, like really subtle yellow stripes, and a little Hearst logo on the fender. Yeah. They were really cool cars.
What were they, like SS or?
Yeah, they were SS.
SS. Wow.
Well, was it the beginning of the pandemic where all the car companies were selling off all their enthusiast vehicles?
Well, I know Dodge was like practically giving them away. They did a deal where it was kind of cool marketing. They said on any Dodge Challenger or Charger, we'll give you $1 off per horsepower. Before you even went in and negotiated, so like a Hellcat Red Eye, you got $7,970 off the MSRP, which is a better deal than you could ever negotiate yourself at a dealer. So they were just trying to, give them away. And I think a lot of people took advantage of it. So,
well,
here
let's see how much we can build one of these bad boys for.
All right. Go.
Okay, so trim, of course, let's skip through all this garbage. And where's the manual? Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good looking car.
That is a good looking car. And I'll tell you what, our friend Sean Davis at
Autotopia LA.
Autotopia has that exact looking car. He has the red ZL1. And I've seen it in person, and it's pretty badass, I gotta say.
One of the design cues on this car that I've seen trickle into the other GM offerings as of late that I really enjoy is that hood, kind of like that reverse cowl hood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The extraction hood.
Thank you. Yeah, the extraction hood. It's really cool. It's like I've seen it on the new Silverados. I've seen it on the new Blazer, I think. And
you're talking
maybe
about the cowl being black as opposed to the hood.
No, just how it like goes. It's almost like
there's a void. It's like
it's like two tectonic plates, and like one's going up above the other one.
Like a shaker design, classic shaker design. If you're going to use,
yeah, kind of. But the shaker was two separate pieces. The shaker portion was attached to the engine. This one's part of the hood.
Oh, it is. I didn't realize that. Okay, I assumed it was like, an engine cover that pokes up through the hood. So
that'd be awesome.
That would suck in rain, but really clean. But
yeah,
this is not a car you should be driving in the rain, Greg.
No. What do you think about Red Hot?
I think red looks good on 99% of the cars.
I would never own a red car. I mean, that's me though. That's it's because it doesn't look good. Well, I just would never own a red car.
What about Crush? You want to select Crush and see what it looks like?
When I think of a ZL1, like if you just say it in my head, it's white.
Really?
Yeah.
I do like them in white quite a bit.
Because they have all the black accents, and it just something about the white ZL1 that just doesn't.
That's a spicy meatball.
I'm personally just not like a white car fan. I think of Kardashians, and I'm not a fan of the Kardashians either. All of their cars are like white G-Wagons and white Rolls Royces, and
okay, so I hate that I know this, Rob, and I hate that like I've actually seen it on the internet, and I couldn't unsee it. But have you seen the leader of the Kardashians' new Lamborghini Urus? Or how do you say it?
Urus, I believe.
Urus.
I did not, but I'm aware of the car, and it's pretty sick. Hybrid Lamborghini, am I correct? Yeah.
Who is the leader of the Kardashians?
Oh no, you're talking about
the one that made them famous.
SUV. Oh, you're talking about the SUV?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Urus. They make another car. I think it's called the Sian, SIAN, which is a hybrid hypercar. It's kind of like an Aventador, but with a hybrid.
Family friendly. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've seen a ton of these on the road.
I
don't like this one.
Are you guys seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, I don't like this one.
So she apparently owns like some clothing company. I'm sure she owns several, but anyways, to promote it, she wrapped her brand new Lamborghini in whatever like material the clothes was made out of. I don't know.
I just drew an association here that's probably going to get me roasted, but it looks like the Shaggin' Wagon from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that's totally what I thought. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But
I see a ton of the Uruses like in Beverly Hills and stuff, and they're a pretty dope car. It's got the Aventador's engine, and it's 700 and I don't know what it is exactly, 80 horsepower or something like that, and an SUV. It's pretty crazy.
I'm not a huge like SUV, like performance SUV fan. We've talked about this on the show before. If I had to get one, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. The Hellcat or the Trackhawk or the Durango RT or the Durango SRT.
Yeah.
But people seem to love them, dude. People love like performance SUVs. I guess the utilitarian aspect of it, I don't know. But in any case, we're not building a Kardashian ZL1, so no white, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that now it's all of a sudden Kardashian. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hey, I'll go for any color but white. Whatever
So-
you
so-
guys
Damn it.
agree upon is
I
fine.
do like white too. It looks good.
It does look good,
Sure.
but I mean, either one of the grays I'm good with.
Can't go wrong with black.
Just not enough contrast.
Blue looks good. I kind of like this one.
The satin steel, yeah, that's very iconic.
And
So-
what's the difference between that and the shadow gray metallic?
Just a lot
it's little
darker.
light, yeah.
Nah, the lighter
I like-
one better.
Yeah, I like the lighter one. It's almost like that Nardo if you kind of squint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too shiny to be Nardo, but yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I like
that is a
Good with
good
that.
yeah. I mean
Okay.
that's Greg right there. Honestly, that's every car I've owned has been that color,
Yeah.
except
Hey,
for
I never pick silver or gray cars just because like they're so common. They're everywhere. Every car on the road is like silver or gray. Like,
Yeah. And it's
you
a
know,
muscle car. You tend to want to,
a high impact color. Yeah.
But
well, I actually opted for the under the radar color, and I consulted with a DPS officer, and I said what's your most pulled over color? And to my surprise, he said silver.
is that right? Well,
Well,
'cause there's
and-
probably so many more.
Exactly.
silver
I
cars.
actually asked him, I'm like, can you run the numbers? And he was like, dude, no, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I
go
mean,
do
you
math for
always
you.
hear that red, orange, is a ticket.
Well, it's gonna and it's gonna increase your insurance rates
it
and
does.
not-
It actually does.
Really? I talked to my insurance agent and she said no.
Well, maybe they've modified that over the years because there's so many more colors available. But I can remember back in the 90s, I got my first car, which was an LX convertible Mustang. And cars like red, it bumped up the premium, not significantly, but they were more expensive than what I ultimately got, which, believe it or not, was white. My first car was white, and I think that's why I ended up
It's because
hating white
that's why
cars.
you love the Kardashians, Rob.
No, I think I hated taking care of a white car, which is white and black are the two worst colors to keep.
Tell me about it. I've got a black car that has not been washed since
I got a black Challenger, which is the size of a boat, and just washing that thing takes like 2 hours. And it's a black car looks like crap unless it's crispy clean.
Yep.
So, and white too, it shows everything. So I think that's how I learned to hate white. And then the Kardashians just made me hate it more. Let's put it that way.
Hey, I forget who it was. The guy from Slayer, Rob. I forget his name. I don't know if you guys are into metal, but like the one of the Kardashians wore a Slayer t-shirt, right? Like totally appropriating like metal culture. And at their next concert, Slayer, who man, I forget his name, Rob something. He's wearing a t-shirt that just said "Kill the Kardashians." It's so funny.
Awesome.
Anyways,
all right, we got a fight on our hands right here.
How?
Again,
really?
How is
Just
there a
like we
fight? Click
did.
the button.
Just like we did on the 2SS that we built. I'm going to say it again. You go for the Extreme Track Performance package and it locks you out of an S-ton of options. Okay.
Yeah, but it's extreme, Rob.
I know that, but there's, I come from a sleeper mentality. I've told you that I like my high-end muscle looking sleeper. Click that button and see what it does.
I just want to see what it looks like.
I
So
just
it gives
feel
us
like some
20-inch
Go.
it gives us 20-inch dark graphite premium wheels, some much wider, well, actually I don't know if they're much wider, but wider Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires. Awesome. The satin black hood, same thing with the tires, carbon fiber weave hood insert, that's cool. Performance suspension, You get the rear spoiler with that, like that. Is it the really tall, like wing spoiler?
And it's fast and frivolous looking, you know. It makes
Listen,
it look like a racer.
I don't care for that. I'm with you on this one, Rob. I don't like that stupid wing. But with a car that's capable of going 200 plus miles an hour, will I ever use it? No. But does it serve a function? Yes.
I'll put it to you this way. I certainly, if I was purchasing this car for track, the wing goes on it. Because it is obviously it's not just aesthetics. This is something that creates a ton of downforce, which you need when you're tracking this car. But I mean, driving around LA with that wing on it, you kind of look like, Vin Diesel.
My God, that thing's cool though, man.
I just realized your plan. You're literally trying to make the Chevy exactly the way I want it so that I vote Chevy. I see how you got the colors.
You're for the track.
Right there. That
well, there, look, if you're gonna do that, you might as well change the color to Crush or something, because
I would do that. That would be my color. I mean, literally, that is the Greg color. That is.
I am gonna vote with Rob on this one because Greg, as much as I love this car, it's awesome.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is. It for me.
You're buying a ZL1 and you're gonna talk about too much. What?
Yeah, because so
then go buy the 2SS.
I don't like that spoiler that's on there. And if I'm buying this car as like a car that I'm going to drive and not just at the racetrack, like Rob said, then no, I don't want it on there. I don't want the canards. I don't want, I guess that's basically it. But I could do without them.
It makes it look like a Fast and Furious vehicle on the street. And I'm telling you, it
really does, because when I compare this to the GT500, right? Even when you put the added like aero on the GT500, when you select whatever package it is, it's
$18,000 carbon, whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's understated, because it's still like pretty ostentatious. But the wicker bill type spoiler is so much better than this thing. As effective, I'm sure it's not, but it looks a hell of a lot better.
You know what we need to do in the future? We need to establish before we go into a build whether we're building this car for street or track, because it could end a lot of arguments. But
that's the thing. The final scores are going to be based off preference. So
yeah, so you can score it how you want, but in this instance, I'm going to say no to the aero, because we can build.
You should say yes to the aero, and then you can score it down.
No. That's I will tell you this though. I do like these wheels a hell of a lot more than the wheels that were on there before.
Well, I think we can select. You might be able to select a similar wheel without doing this package. But hey, Greg, see that American flag behind Vinny? The old stars and stripes, that represents democracy, man. And you just got outvoted 2-1, baby. So just live with it.
It's a good thing we live in a republic.
Wait a second.
Republic. You are correct.
Wait a second. I like the carbon. I do like the carbon. That carbon insert on the hood. And
you can select that as a standalone. I'm almost 100% positive.
Yeah, I'm still going to say no. I like it better.
You got
this
cool car, and then you got boring car.
See, my argument is, why don't they let you do the track package and opt whether you want the wing or not? Why does it have to go? I hate when car companies do this, where it lumps in a bunch of stuff that you might not want. You should be able to customize the package, get the performance parts, but leave off the aesthetic.
That way, if you want one thing, you have to buy all the things.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm guessing they've done some study that says it makes them more money than it loses them.
So you can only get those wheels with the ZL1 Extreme Performance Track package.
That's
right,
fine.
But I think we'll be able to get
wheels.
a gray, like a graphite wheel
Yeah, but they're also you get more tire because they're 19s and the standards are 20s. I don't hate these wheels; they're fine, but those are actually pretty sweet. But I did like the 19s.
Very Mach 1-ish with the.
Are
with the
you,
tunable batteries.
Vinny? Are you faltering? Are you?
No, because I aesthetically still like I'm not crazy about that wing. When I see them on the street, I think the same thing that you do. Like, why did Chevy do that, man? That's like pretty ricer.
I feel the same way about the Corvette ZR1. They always put a massive wing on it. Now, the original ZR1, you couldn't even tell it was a ZR1. There were no aesthetic add-ons, and it was so dope to have a 400 horsepower car back in like 1992 or whatever the first ZR1 was, and all it had was a little tiny ZR1 badge on the rear fascia.
The best ZR1 that has ever come out debuted in 2009, and that see-through window in the hood. That car was the pinnacle of Chevy performance for me. I loved that car so much when it came out. So anytime I hear ZR1, I'm comparing every one to that one.
Yeah.
But let's see, you guys. So we can get wider.
Don't we have to go back a page? I think there were other options in the.
There were, but they were like lug nuts. I don't know.
How much time against lug nuts? Oh, I remember. They charge you $250 for lug nuts that you could get off of.
It was like $300. Yeah, so stupid. So no, ZL1 protection package.
Isn't one of our sponsors Summit Racing?
No, but maybe next year.
Okay. So you can buy lug nut, those same black lug nuts for about $60 off of most of the major aftermarket parts stores.
So we'll vote no for that stuff. Wheels, I guess we're pretty much locked in. We still get the Eagle F1 supercars, so that's cool.
Yeah, those are good tires. I had those on my Challenger, my SRT. They came stock with Goodyear Eagle F1s, and a lot of people, the first thing you gotta do is get rid of those Goodyears. I got mad respect for Goodyear, man.
I love, as a brand, I really like Goodyear, and I've owned BF Goodrich radial TAs on like all my classic cars, but I've owned Goodyears on pretty much all my modern cars that I've ever owned. Those are my two brands. I don't know, I like them. But let's move on to the mechanical options. Paddle shift controls don't apply.
The
battery,
suspension. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're not going to select the you can only get it with the ZL1. Boom! You win, Greg.
Oh, good Lord. See, this is my whole argument. Leave that make that damn spoiler optional, and I would agree with.
Well, I mean, it is optional. It's not welded to the trunk.
No,
I got to tell you,
to buy a new trunk and paint it because there are holes in it. When you take the wing off.
I got to tell you guys, I really think that I'd like this car a lot more if it was in a brighter color. Right now, it looks like ricey because it looks like someone started with a base Camaro that was like silver or whatever, and then just added all this stuff on it.
You want to go back to colors, and
I kind of want to just see how it'll look with something else.
Look at it in white.
Oh yeah!
Now we're getting the serious Kardashian.
Ooh, that's bad, man. That's bad.
Look at Crush again, or Red Hot.
I like Crush. Crush is pretty good.
Pretty dope.
Crush works better than red for sure, and Riverside Blue does not work. I'm sorry. I love blue. No. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't work.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that.
Let's look at it in shot, right. Just because.
Boy, we are going far afield of my taste, right?
No shock. I just wanted to see it.
I think out of the ones we just chose, I like Crush the best. I'm an orange muscle car guy.
I would go white over orange, but Crush.
I'll go with orange. I'll go with orange for you, Rob. But I honestly, out of all these, I think white looks the best.
Yeah, like I said, when I think of a ZL1, like when you say ZL1, it's white.
I mean, if
All
you're to me, if you're gonna put that wing on it, then you gotta do something, extreme with the color. I mean, if you just gotta go all the way. If you're gonna look stupid, look as stupid as possible.
Oh, hey, you can
Wow.
get that spoiler costs $5,500.
Yeah, but you can't take $5,500 off of the track package and just not order it.
Well, now
Oh my God. Good Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, you
here's
can't
the
remove it.
All right.
Does
I
the
mean,
sunroof still room
I'm
the roof?
relatively happy you guys got your track package and your really cool wing, and at least I get orange, so it's a compromise, right?
Oh, look at that exhaust. I like that.
What about the sunroof? Does the sunroof still ruin the roof line?
No, right now it doesn't have a sunroof.
I'm saying
I don't think you. They're not going to make a curved piece of glass. I don't think.
No, it ruins the roof. We talked about this when we
Yeah.
built the SS. You got that cool center pagoda style.
And this is not,
which I'm sure has aero advantages, by the way.
Yeah.
And then
without
you
a doubt.
put a sunroof on, which we'd all like, and then you lose that contour to the roof. It's lame.
Rob, thanks, because you ruined my car for me. I realized that this is not only something that takes place on the 6th gen, it's also on the 5th gen. And I looked at my car and I looked at it like a fixed roof, no sunroof, 5th gen, and I was like, yeah, that does look better. Damn it, Rob.
Oh, so you actually got a sunroof on yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, mine has a sunroof.
Sorry.
But I will say I do enjoy the use of my sunroof very much.
yeah.
Okay, guys. So I took the liberty here and I selected one of these fuel filler doors because I figured you guys might want one.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
well,
the
'cause
visible
it's-
carbon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's body color, just a flap if you don't select one of these, which, I would probably outfit it that way without this track package. But if you're going with the track package, I say you definitely have to do like a carbon fuel door to match.
Okay, so these are all just car covers. No, thank you.
Covercraft makes better car covers than any of the factory ones.
Okay, so now we move on to the radio,
Gotta get
infotainment.
navigation. We've all admitted we would
Is that-
never buy
okay.
a new car without nav.
Hey, for $500, why not?
That's pretty cheap for a nav system, isn't it, boys?
Yeah.
It's like $1,500 on a Challenger.
So the ZL1 comes with the Recaros, awesome. Contrast stitching, I dig them. They're really cool. Rear bench seat, we can get that. Wait. Oh, so you have to keep the rear bench seat. Interesting. I'm surprised that they don't offer a delete.
That is a delete because it would come with full seats if we didn't do the track package. That's their version of a delete. I think. Say that again.
Click the little eye.
I thought rear bench meant it's just a shelf.
Oh.
Maybe I'm wrong. Can you rotate the interior picture?
Yeah, no. So you get seats.
Get actual seats. I'm shocked. I'm actually.
Yeah, I know. I would think that they would put give you an option for like a crossbar or something,
Delete.
Yeah. In the Hellcats, you can do a full rear delete, and it's just a shelf back there.
Yeah. Okay.
Put the floor mats in there.
You want floor mats?
If you're buying a ZL1, you got to put the ZL1.
I would do the
everything.
floor mats. Usually a dealer will throw those in if you're buying a car this expensive, but we might as well option it.
Embroidered center console lid. Oh, well, you got to pay $250 for that.
Well, let's see what it looks like.
It's
I'm
just
genuinely
probably
curious.
contrast stitching.
Ooh, it says Chevrolet on there. Very nice.
That's worth $245.
Am I sensing a little bit of sarcasm?
Well, since you're financing it, you don't have to pay for it right now, Rob. You get to pay $450 over 8 years.
When you consider the interest on it.
Okay, performance data and video recorder. Ooh.
Didn't we discuss this on the other one? And I thought it was a decent package to have it integrated, but you can get the same thing cheaper.
You're our current camera buddy. camera and recording buddy. I used to be in the film business, but now you run cameras. So
I mean, I just think it's cool because it's an OEM integrated solution.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that there are aftermarket options that are probably, cheaper and possibly better. But the fact that they offer it like integrated into the vehicle, you don't have to worry about installing anything after, I think that's probably worth the $1,300. Also, if you're buying this car, it's a freaking race car, man. So if you plan on doing any track days and stuff, I think it would be cool to have. And then for resale value, I think people would want it. I don't know.
Well, and there's one other thing. Look at the third one from the bottom. Valet mode. Like that's nice. That's nice because
standard on all Hellcats.
No, that's valet recording.
The red key and the black key.
That's not valet mode performance. That's valet mode.
It's watching if the guy farts in your car.
Yeah, like right? That's what I'm talking about. Like,
no fart zone. He'll still do it anyway, but you'll catch it on video, and then you can upload it to your favorite fetish site or something.
Whoa! I think it also limits the revs. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's nice to be able to have.
I defer to you on this one, Greg.
I would go with it for $1,300. I mean, we're already in for $75,000.
It's awesome, dude. It's, you get the camera, but not only that, you get it records your lap times and quarter miles, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, which you will undoubtedly do in this car. So I say yes.
All included on a Challenger. Thank you, Mo.
I mean, my Ego Boost does all that. So, I mean, that's
did you just call it an Ego Boost?
No, Eco.
I think you said Ego Boost. If you make that a project car, you should call it the Ego Boost.
It's a 4-cylinder turbo. What ego is there involved?
I think that wing,
just throw a massive turbo on it and call it the Ego Boost.
I think that track package rear wing is the Ego Boost. If you've got other things in your life that are small, you need a big wing.
The Big Wang Gang.
The Big Wang Gang.
Yeah,
that's a good one, Greg.
That's actually a company, so I can't.
Oh, really?
For that. Yeah, they sell the Big Wang.
Yeah, God bless them.
It's like a 68-inch wing or something.
I don't think we can do remote start.
No,
6-speed.
Yeah, I was just checking to see if you could, but yeah, you definitely can't.
Yeah, because of the clutch, you can't do that.
You could always leave it in gear. Let's see. Carbon fiber style shift knob.
Not when it says style. Anytime it says style, that
it
means
it's
a sticker.
Not real carbon.
It's a sticker. No.
No.
Carbon. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Yeah. Let's do this.
May require additional.
All right, let's see what it. Click on it and see what it does.
See the front view.
Yeah, it's like we need to see the dash.
Where is it?
Does it not give us the render? What's going on here? Come on, Chevy. What are you doing?
It renders. Yeah. It's that insert. Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah. GT 500 has a nice carbon strip that you can option just like that.
$70 for a cargo net.
Wait a second. That was $500. I just realized.
Yeah, that carbon fiber insert.
Yeah.
But it shaves a quarter of a pound, Rob.
Oh, Jesus. Whatever.
I maybe a quarter ounce if we're being honest.
I mean,
yeah.
God, I would never.
But it increases the strength and rigidity of that very pivotal piece of
your instrument cluster. It's for when your needles are swinging really fast.
Yeah.
It's space age technology, you guys.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Knee pads red provides additional
dealers
comfort.
must just giggle themselves into a frenzy when someone's like, I want the carbon fiber instrument panel. They just must be like, that's like a $40 manufacturing part tops.
I don't know. Have you seen the price of carbon fiber stuff lately?
Yeah, but it's come way down. I mean, carbon fiber is like de rigueur now on cars.
Do Do you guys think we should spring for like the roof carrier?
Can we? Can we? Like, will it let us?
Cleaning products, electronics. Oh, you guys can get some Bluetooth headphones.
Wait, how did we get here? I thought we were still on the interior of the car.
No, interior. The last thing was that knee
it's
pad
done.
thing, and I don't know. Do you guys want $350 red knee pads?
I'm not doing red with an orange crushed car. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
How about just buy some aftermarket knee pads and Velcro them on?
Trailer.
See what kind of.
Got to tow some stuff.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a tow package. $189.
Hey, 110 pounds. That'd be enough to tow your race tires.
Yeah, floor mats. What?
Ground effects. What was that?
A smoker's package. What does that come with? An ashtray. A plastic ashtray
for $55.
Oh wait, and you get the cigarette lighter.
Yeah, smoker's tax right there, $55.
That's all right. Let's wrap this thing up. Oh God.
So we're only at
906. I know, and $980 for this car, like, all right, that's a crap load of money, right? That's like someone's mortgage.
That's a lease, dude. No.
Okay. Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, how the hell does that happen?
That's a lease, and it's always based on MSRP. And if you pay MSRP on a car in today's market, you're a fool. I know these are hard to come by, and you probably have to build to order, but I'm sorry, these aren't rare. It's not a limited edition. I wouldn't pay anything near MSRP on it. I'd walk. So,
I've never leased a car, so I don't even know how you would deal.
I've leased. I leased 3 BMWs, and leasing is often a really good deal because it lowers your monthly payment considerably. And if you know in 3 years you're going to want a new car because something better is going to come out, at the end of the lease, you just hand them the keys, and you basically just pay a fee at the end if you don't lease another one, and that's it. And the fee is usually like $500. It's not really consequential, and it's nice. And you always have the option to buy the car at the end of a lease if you fell in love with it. Oftentimes, you also have positive equity. In other words, the car is actually worth more than what you pay for it at the end of the lease, because let's say you put very little mileage on the car, and ends up being like a $7,000 or $8,000 spread between what the car is worth and what you agreed before the lease is the buyback. You can then buy the car at the end of the lease and then flip it and make yourself $7,000. So leasing has its options. Also, conversely, if you really love a car and you're the type of person that when you buy a car you keep it, then leasing is not for you.
I keep cars for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good looking car,
yeah,
minus that rear wing. I mean, the crush is, if I was going to buy this thing, it'd be crush, I think.
Just try to squint and like look at it without the little spoiler.
Yeah. My hand up to the screen.
No, that's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
That's such a good looking car. So is it worth $76,535? I mean, if you're in the market for one of the best performance cars, best domestic performance cars on the market today, then yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a very nominal price. I think all three of us are gonna find when we build the Challenger, if we opt for a red eye over a standard Hellcat, or even the Super Sport model, which just came out, this is going to be a bargain compared to the Dodge offering. I'm not sure. I can't remember where the GT500 comes in.
I think it's probably higher than this.
Yeah, especially if you go for their version of the track package, which
Yeah,
is
the carbon fiber
grand.
track pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to. I mean, honestly, like I wouldn't be happy with the GT5. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. Of course, I'd be happy
Well,
with
I mean, if we built it like this for the Camaro, it sort of behooves us to build the GT500 similarly. You got to add the track pack. The problem we're going to run into is that Dodge doesn't offer, the closest thing they have to a track pack is the wide body package, which basically just gives you wider wheels. There's no, wing add-on or anything like that.
You are so focused on the wing.
Well, it's pretty ugly.
It's ugly. I mean,
But
it's
it fits the car. And I'm not calling the car
if they had
ugly.
just put a wicker bill on this, I'd feel better. Just a low profile spoiler on the back.
Because they have the factory carbon fiber spoiler, like it's the ZL1 1LE or no. So it's the ZL1 that we were building before without the track pack. So it just has like a small carbon fiber spoiler.
Right.
If they were to add a wicker bill on top of that, like they do with like the Corvettes, fantastic. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Motor oils and additives are the two most important pillars of the German company Liqui-Moly. Beyond that, the company sells service products, car care, greases, pastes, underbody protection, and windscreen adhesives. They also offer the tools and equipment required to use those products effectively. There are a total of more than 4,000 items, which make Liqui-Moly a globally unique, full-range retailer for automotive chemicals. Along with cars, Liqui-Moly also has its own product range for motorcycles and bicycles, for commercial vehicles and construction machines, for garden devices and industrial applications, as well as for boats and small aircraft. In order to ensure the consistently high quality of its products, Liqui-Moly produces its oils and additives exclusively in Germany. So, if you want to check out the high-quality products of Liqui-Moly, go to liquimoly.com. That's LIQUI-MOLY.com. And we're back, this time with scoring. All right, guys. So we just finished building the new ZL1. Pretty awesome car. I'm sharing my screen now. I guess I could stop sharing my screen, but I just like looking at that car so much. It's beautiful.
I wish Sean Davis was here to comment on it because he owns one, and I don't believe he got the track package. I think he went my route for a more sleeper look, as far as a ZL1 Camaro can be considered a sleeper.
I wonder if you could, somehow work the system at your local dealership and possibly order the suspension package from
probably not.
Well, can I just
not, because
like
for the very reason that Greg astutely pointed out, that they make a ton more money lumping it into a package where you're locked in on all of these things just to get the prime thing that you want, which would be the suspension. So,
but to Greg's point as well, if you were to take off that spoiler, take off those canards, take off that front lip, and sell them, you would make what the package costs back.
Well, I mean, even if really your only argument was the wing, let's do real world. You go on to, what is it, Camaro 6 or whatever, .com, and you post up, does anybody have, an orange or a crushed trunk, want to swap me? You would have like that. Let's just say, if you wanted to get rid of it, it would be the easiest thing in the world to get rid of.
But it's no longer original. I would probably just purchase like another replacement trunk and paint it orange, and I would put that thing in storage.
God, now you're talking like, no, we go to Anderson Composites and get a carbon fiber trunk. There you go. Boom, done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would. Anyways, look, you guys are beating around the bush right now. We need to get to scoring, okay?
All right.
So, the first, let's pull up this. Let's go back to the specs because we're gonna need that. Where? How do I? Let's go previous. Here we go. That's not what I want. Where did it list the specs, you guys? The main.
I don't remember. Are you talking when you say specs? Are you talking about like horsepower and
or the way we built it?
No, like horsepower and stuff.
I would even say go to like a third party site like Edmunds.
I'll just go to Google. How do I stop sharing? Oh, here we go. It was like hidden behind my toolbar. All right. Let's see. 2021. 650 horsepower. And torque. Now just give me the horsepower. Well, it's 650 horsepower. So it's difficult, but I guess when you're comparing it to, you have to compare it to the others in the same arena. So it would be the Hellcat and the GT500, which, I mean, both of those blow
more horsepower and torque.
Yeah, they blow this thing out of the water. So,
but you should also be looking up dry weight, because obviously weight factors in, and then look at 0 to 60 in the quarter mile.
Doesn't that all come in during performance?
Yeah, that's overall performance, but that's not one of our
what are we doing
criteria.
right now?
This is just horsepower and torque numbers, but I think maybe you guys are making a good case for changing it to, I guess,
well, instead of handling, why wouldn't it just be performance? Like make handling an all-in-one performance.
I think it's separate. I think like 0 to 60, 0 to 100, 60 to 0.
So then get rid of aftermarket and put in performance.
Okay.
Yeah, forget the aftermarket.
I mean, performance is the ultimate criteria for us. So, yeah,
but yeah. All right. Let's see. So that's like quarter mile, 0 to 60, etc.
Braking.
Yeah.
Cappuccino making in the Senate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so
milk whipping. Sorry, I misspoke.
Well, 650 horsepower is a lot of horsepower. I mean, this is a lot of car for the money, right? We're at like 70 grand. But it's not as much as the other two cars. So for me, I got to score this a little bit lower. I got to give it like a 6, 7.
Wait, I thought we were going
it's 0 to 5. Sorry. I was thinking 0 to 10. So yeah, I got to give it like a 3.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I want to do a 3.5, but I don't want to break into the decimals. So because that kind of ruins the concept.
Okay. Well,
I could go.
You got to give me a number.
But I'd say 3. I'm going to go 3 for power.
I mean,
that's not because 650 isn't awesome.
Yeah, no, it's just not as much as the other two.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue, for a 4 rating, since 650 horsepower is extreme by, just about anybody's standards, but really we're comparing 3 cars, and one of them is going to be a 5, and one of them is going to be a 3, and one's going to largely come in the middle. So,
well, depending on what Mopar we compare, there might be 2 5s or 2 4s.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because they might be neck and neck. I mean,
that's true.
Well,
because
Hellcat the GT500 makes more than the Hellcat.
Yeah, but I mean,
the
if we're
standard
talking about
Hellcat, but it doesn't make more than the Red Eye or the Super Stock.
We're not building a Super Stock.
We don't know.
We could. Well, we could build the Red Eye, but I think the Super Stock is not in the same class of vehicle as these other two.
It's a street car, though. It's the Demon drivetrain, but it does not have the ability to tune it for race gas, which limits it. I think it's 804 horsepower, whereas the Demon on 110 gas would pump out 840. But it's basically a Demon. It comes with street tires, though, so you can argue it's not a track car.
But it's also kind of tuned for straight line and not really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to lose points in handling.
I think a Red Eye would be a better comparison.
I mean, honestly, when we get to the Challenger, I knew I was going to have an argument for actually going with the standard Hellcat. because I got a problem with the price of the red eye compared to what you get for that premium. It's only let's see, 797 versus 717, so it's only 80 horsepower more, but you're paying a considerable premium for 80 horsepower that you're not really going to feel. Most
80 horsepower is a lot, man.
Yeah, 80s.
It is, but I mean, on the street, you're never going to use the 717 that a Hellcat has. So
yeah, and you're never going to use the spoiler that this car came with.
If you track it, you will. And if you tracked a Hellcat versus a red eye, you would notice that 80 horsepower. But in day-to-day street use, it's almost $8,000 premium for the red eye for what?
Yeah, and I think it's comparable.
Rights. It's bragging rights is what you're paying.
I think we gotta compare the Hellcat to these other two because it's the top tier before you get to that super stock, and that's
I think
arguably a purpose-built car.
But I think that's an argument for the Mopar episode.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just foreshadowing the type of crap we're gonna.
If you're still watching us argue over this, drop a comment in the comment section below, and please let us know what you think we should do. Should we do the red eye? Should we do a standard Hellcat, or should we do a super stock? Excuse me. Back to the Camaro. Okay, so 3s across the board for horsepower. Handling. So we had to opt for the performance package, the extreme performance package, and considering that this car in particular has wait, that's not true. That's not true anymore. It had superior Nürburgring times over the GT350 and the Hellcat, but not the GT500. So I got to give this thing like a 4.5 for handling.
Are we getting into the 0.5s?
I think so.
I don't know the actual Nürburgring numbers or the skid pad numbers or anything like that for any of these cars. So if you do, I'll default with you and I'll vote.
Well, the ZL1 had the record as far as like at the as far as these cars in this arena, it had the record for a long time, and it was astounding. It was like 7 minutes and like 19 seconds or something.
Less than 7 minutes, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you know that 30 years ago, 40 years ago, Formula One cars were doing 7-minute Nürburgring laps? That's how crazy street automotive technology has gotten. Is that insane? Like,
it was pretty close. It was 7:16.
Yeah, Niki Lauda, I think pulled before his crash at the Nürburgring, pulled like a 7:15 or something at the Nürburgring.
And wait a minute,
12 Formula One car.
And we're talking the 80s, so that's when they had the crazy aero packages too, right?
Well, that was like in the 70s. Niki Lauda managed that. I mean, now Formula One cars would probably it's not practical to run them there anymore. But a Formula One car could theoretically do like a 5-minute Nürburgring lap these days. I mean, they're putting out over 1,000 horsepower and they weigh about 1,600 pounds. So it's pretty crazy. But the fact that street cars can do a 7-minute lap, which was the privy of like Formula One cars just like 30, 40 years ago is pretty insane.
Okay, so this is crazy. I was pretty close, so I thought it was 7:19. The ZL1 is 7:16. Let me see here. The Hellcat was like 7:4. Let me see, 7:51. So quite a bit slower.
And the GT500.
The GT500. Would you guys care to take a guess?
707.
Okay, Rob, you said what now?
707.
And Greg, you said what?
704.
You're both very close. So for comparison, the GT350R, which is what I was originally comparing the ZL1 to, was 732. So very fast car.
That's surprising.
Why is that?
I would have expected it to be a little bit closer, but I do know that it's down 150 horsepower on the ZL1, but still.
Okay, so the newest GT500, the last one that did the Nürburgring, 7 minutes, just over 7 minutes, technically 7:01.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be our 5. So this I would
That's like a
downgrade-
5.5.
I would downgrade. You were gonna say 4.5 on.
I'm going
on the
4.
ZL1.
I still give the ZL1 4.5 because I mean you're talking about 15 seconds, which is an eternity in racing, sure, but it's pretty dang close. I mean the Hellcat's almost 8 minutes. I mean it's almost a whole minute
But
slower.
you gotta be on. Is that a red eye or is that a?
I looked for the red eye and I couldn't find a Nürburgring time, so I had to just go with the Hellcat.
I'm just going with a 4 because I mean there's more to life than the Nürburgring, but
I agree, but you got to admit that's pretty dang impressive.
oh, it's incredible. It's astonishing.
Oh man, I wonder. Well, I can't share a video, huh, Greg?
No, not with our current setup.
There's a video of that Nürburgring lap where he pulls off that 7:16, and it's incredible to watch. Like it's in-car footage. Oh, it's awesome. You guys, I'll send you the link.
A lot of the Nürburgring videos. I think I saw Sabina Schmidt, who sadly passed away. She was called the Queen of the Nürburgring. She grew up there inside in a little village inside the Nürburgring and started doing laps of it when she was a kid. And she went on to become an IMSA racer, and she did German touring car, I believe, and stuff like that. And she passed away sadly like 3 or 4 months ago, but I used to subscribe to her YouTube channel and see this 5'3", 100-pound girl like do the most nauseating things you ever saw in your life on the Nürburgring. Just stuff where you're sitting there watching it, begging for her to hit the brake, and she just takes corners flat and stuff. And Godspeed to her. She was a hell of a driver.
Man, why is it that track that's like so?
Because it's so diverse.
For one
that's
thing,
the benchmark.
It's 14 miles long for one thing. For another thing, it's got like 150 corners or something. And to be truly fast around it, you have to know every single corner. And on top of that, it's located in a part of Germany where it rains a lot. And because of the size of the track, it can be perfectly dry on one side of the track. And then on another side, it's pouring rain. And it just offers the most challenges of any racetrack in the world.
I know. I always hated it when it popped up in Gran Turismo when you had to go in the ring. I hated doing that.
It's just so difficult, If you can be fast at the Nürburgring, you're fast everywhere, basically.
What do you think is the most famous racetrack in America?
Well, Indianapolis, obviously.
Okay, outside of NASCAR. Yeah, outside of NASCAR.
Road America, maybe COTA now.
COTA's got it because it's got the F1 stuff, and they're getting a second F1 race. So
it's got F1, and they run IndyCar there now too. So
what about Laguna?
Laguna Seca, fabulous track. Been to it a number of times. Corkscrew is a great complex, but
I drove it in the rain.
Yeah, compared to COTA, it's kind of an old school track, and COTA is really cutting edge.
I will say this, and this is probably heresy. I mean, driving Laguna Seca was like bucket list item, like it was amazing, right? And it was raining, so it was technical and it was hard. Not my favorite track to drive. Probably my favorite experience ever.
Yeah.
Not my favorite track to drive.
No, it's a pretty simple layout, actually. There's not a lot of turns on
it's a lot of 90-degree turns, and
right.
It's like they're not, I mean, okay, yeah, the corkscrew is complicated. That's true. But it's like there's not a lot of variation. It's like 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree.
I've been to both Laguna Seca and Coda a number of times. I've gone to every Formula One US Grand Prix at Coda except for 1 year. And I mean, Coda is a fabulous track. It's got a little bit of everything. Much more technical than Laguna Seca.
Did they
I would have to really say it's the premier track in America right now.
Did they ever have a Grand Prix at Road Atlanta?
No. Formula One is extremely high. They have extremely high standards for safety, and it's safety and runoff areas and things like that. And it's what's called, they have a tier system where they rate tracks in terms of facilities, and only right now the rules in Formula One are that only tier 1 circuits can be used, and there's only currently two tier 1 circuits in America. It's the F1 track inside the oval at Indianapolis, and Coda are the only 2 tracks that F1 can race on.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're trying to put together a street race in Miami that's been dragging on for years now.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah,
That would be amazing.
I think
that
it's
would
gonna
be so
happen.
cool.
They've had a lot of resistance by environmental groups and stuff like that, but I think they're going to be racing around where the Miami Heat play, that stadium in downtown Miami.
Rob, if you need help covering that race for
I was hoping the
periodicals,
magazine would pay for me.
I thought you write for some Formula One publications.
I do, yeah. So
yeah, well, tell me you need staff, and I'll go with you.
All right, you got it.
Okay, so moving back to the Camaro.
You're voting 4.5. I'm voting 4.
I'm saying
Greg.
4.
Yeah.
A 4?
4.
Okay. So let's see. Comfort, convenience, interior amenities. We've talked about this with the Camaro in the past. I really love the Alcantara. I love the steering wheel. I love the dash layout. There are like things that I don't like just from being in a 6th gen Camaro. So they have to offer you knee pads because of like your knee placement. It like rubs up right up against the door, and after a while it kind of hurts. Same thing with like the inner dash or the inner center console rather. So that's a knock that I have on it. I also don't want to pay $500 for a carbon fiber insert. There on the dash. I
think in this category you gotta compare two of the cars to the Hellcat, since in terms of space, both in the front and rear of the car, the Hellcat's going to win hands down.
Is that the big deciding factor for you in this though, space? Because if we're talking about like a race car, I mean, I could care less about.
I argued earlier that we should have defined,
But that's the thing. It's what you want.
Right. It's an overall car. So
I just felt that we should have defined if we were getting these cars for track or primarily road, because it would solve problems like this. But
well, I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
it would help you make your decision, and granted, it would. But
I'm a bigger guy. I'm over 6 feet and 200 pounds. So yeah, I mean, space matters to me. Would I still buy a ZL1 and cram myself into it if it's small? Yeah, of course. I mean, I love cars. It's secondary to performance for me, but it does factor in, being over 6 feet tall. You want, headroom. You want there to be enough travel on the seats so you can get the proper driving position. And so that's my take.
There are not many cars that I wouldn't, I'm like, oh, this is too small for me to drive. If I'm spending, almost 80 grand on one, then yeah, it's definitely something I have to consider. The 6th gen Camaro is not that small. I'm in the same boat as you, Rob. I'm around 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. And I used to own one. It's not that bad. I really like the cockpit layout, the way the gauges are set up, the heads-up display, the steering wheel, the telescopic function. The Recaros are fantastic. The shifter is amazing.
And they certainly have improved the interior since, you know, the next gen Camaro was launched. The original Camaro did not have a nice interior. Let's all admit that. It was cheap and plasticky. And, you know, they've added some nice touches like the AC vents, that rotary job on that. That's cool stuff. So
For sure.
I give it a 4.
I would. Oh man, I would. Where do you fall, Greg? Because you have pretty high standards, yeah, for interior.
And it only gets the 3 for me because the Recaros are cool, because the steering wheel is cool.
Really?
Yeah, like honestly, it's all aesthetic, because actual fit for me, because I don't fit in a 6th gen. Like it doesn't fit right for me.
Yeah.
So, but all the cool factors of Recaros and the badass steering wheel and just the nicety of the interior gets it a 3.
The display on the GT500 is much better than both the ZL1 and the Hellcat, having driven both of them.
You're talking the cluster or the
center, yeah, the center console display. It's larger. It offers more clarity. I like it a lot better. Out of the Hellcat and the Camaro, I like the Hellcat's like visuals better, because like I like the where you can see like the drivetrain of the car. You can see the engine, and like different sections of it are lit up orange and yellow and red when you disable and enable different functions. The Camaro doesn't have anything like that. It's very basic. But one thing that it does have that the other two don't, which is huge for me, is the heads-up display. I really like the heads-up display. So for that, I give the car a 4.
Yeah, Dodge has never offered a heads-up display in any of their cars, and it's something I think by 2021 they should have engineered in. Especially if you're tracking your car to have a rev counter. I'm sure all 3 of us know, shift points and stuff like that by ear. I mean, I listen and I.
Oh no, I used to put sequential shift lights in everything. I love
but
sequential
I mean, in the heat of like, if you're tracking it on a road course, yeah, a heads-up display is a big deal. Even if you have a finely tuned sense of when to shift via the sound of the engine and so forth. Downshifting quickly into turn complexes and stuff like that. You don't want to bounce off a rev limiter. So it definitely makes a big deal to have a rev counter on the glass, because you certainly aren't going to be able to look down to the cluster. So
yeah. And it's actually pretty sophisticated the way that they do it on the Camaro. Like you can move it up and down out of your direct field of vision. You can kind of have it on the periphery. You can cycle through the display. You can show your rev counter. You can show your mile per hour. You can even show like what song you're listening to, your track lists, things like that.
That's important.
Well,
it is to keep your eyes on the road. I get it.
Yeah, for everyday driving, you can show, okay, you got a text message, cool. It's a useful function that I really enjoyed. So to me, it mattered. Yeah. Okay, so that moves us on to performance, which is like quarter mile, 0 to 60, braking, quickness, things like that. And I pulled up this little comparison between the Camaro and the ZL1, which I thought was pretty interesting. So
the Camaro and the GT500.
Thank you, Rob. So it says with nearly 200 pounds less mass and with a weight distribution closer to 50-50, the 2020 Camaro ZL1 1LE is just as quick as the Mustang, despite making less horsepower. At the track, it beats the GT500 to 0 to 60 by 0.2 seconds, 3.4 seconds versus 3.6 seconds. It outruns the GT500 outruns the Camaro to 100 miles per hour, though, and it trails off. So while the Camaro is just slightly quicker in that 0 to 60, the GT500 is a faster car, which we all know.
I put the ZL1 at a 3.5.
Performance out of the ZL1, Rob gives a 3.5. Hot
I mean,
take.
if we're comparing to just these three cars, if we were comparing to all cars on the market right now, obviously it's much higher. But if we do a red eye, it's going to be faster, and if we do a GT500, it's when we do a GT500, it's faster. So
yeah, the other two they make more power, they're faster. I think the Camaro's probably got the other. It's got the Hellcat beat as far as handling goes, but now the GT500 bests all the other two. So yeah, I get you. I see where you're coming from.
Yep.
Greg,
I give it a 4.
4.
Because as much as 0 to 100 and everything, it quarter mile times that trumps all, right? That 0 to 60, getting off the corner, stuff like that's important, so I give it a little heavier weight, so I give it a 4.
Yeah, I got to give it a little bit more credit too. I give it a 4.2 because for those reasons that
5.
Yeah, for those reasons that you just listed, Greg. To me, I'm impressed by the fact that yes, it makes 100 less horsepower than the new GT500, but it's somehow slightly quicker when we're talking about 0 to 60. So that's impressive to me.
Guys, I just realized something. I haven't been writing down my numbers.
I got you, Rob. I've been tracking. Yeah.
I forgot all about talking about recording our numbers. So
I got you. And then maybe I don't know. It depends on how much work Greg and I want to do. We might try and get a graphic made for the end of the episode or something. I don't know. But anyways, so that gives us our scores for performance. Okay, so now we got to talk about price, gentlemen. We alluded to this a little bit once we were done building it, but we were at 77,000. I don't have it anymore. I deleted it. But we were at like 77,000 and some change.
Yeah, that was after the gas guzzler and destination and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, price wise, I think it comes out on top, depending on what Hellcat we build. So I'd give it a 4.5 on price.
4.5. And Greg?
I'm going with a 4 because while it is a good value overall, like for what it is, I still don't know that 77 grand is, if that was your budget, I feel like you could do better through different means.
How so?
In the Camaro lineup.
Oh, you mean utilizing like aftermarket support?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So
of
I
course.
mean, it's not. Oh my, the heavens aren't opening up and shining on it. It's not, it's not a C8 Corvette where there's no beating the price. It's so I
okay, that's
it's still respectable, very respectable. It's just not perfect.
I feel like that's one way to look at it, but another way to look at it too is like then you're buying an SS and you're adding a bunch of stuff to it. So like, yeah, okay, it's you can make it faster or
but you're not going to build up an SS to 600.
Well, you could
horsepower. You could, but it's not going to be cheap.
It's not going to be cheap. And then you could probably do it. You could do it for less than 77 grand, but it's not going to be a ZL1. It's just not.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that 77 grand is end all be all for what you get. It's still awesome. Like
I can only compare it
for it.
I can only compare it to the other two vehicles that we're talking about here, right? So since we haven't built those yet, I can only speculate, right? So as Rob mentioned, the Challenger is probably going to be more expensive. The GT500 will certainly be more expensive. So you got to look at performance for the money, and I think the Camaro is probably going to do the best in that respect. So I gave it a 4.8.
Okay. Is that all our categories? Or
nope, that's only 5. We got more.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have 8. We can probably trim it down to 7 or 6, whatever you guys want. But this one will be interesting. I do want to get your guys' take. So compared to the other two, where does this one fall as far as like availability, exclusivity, status, collectability. Owning this car versus owning the others, does that factor in it at all?
Well, I don't think any of the three cars are considered limited production. Am I correct in that, Greg? The GT500 it's not limited.
It's limited to as many as they can sell.
Right. So I don't think any of them, I think we've touched upon this before in terms of, to me, the collector car, like, doesn't really exist anymore like it used to in the golden era of muscle cars, in part because all the muscle cars from the late 60s, early 70s have been built already. And if someone didn't outfit, a car in a way back then that made it extremely collectible, well, there's nothing you can do now to change that. But clearly back in the day, there were cars that were truly limited edition cars. You can think about Mustang drag packs from the early 70s. You can think of certain Shelbys like King of the Roads and stuff that qualify as a collector car. In my estimation, the only collector car in the muscle car world that we have seen in the past few years, I'll name two: the Copos and the Dodge Demon.
Well, the Cobra Jet, if you're talking about those, the Cobra Jet too.
The Cobra Jet,
the Cobra Jet as well. So I don't consider any of these three cars to be exclusive, or, if you want one, you can go to your Dodge, Chevrolet or Ford dealer right now and order one. So
you bring up an interesting point, Rob, because while they're not exclusive, that means that they have they're more readily available, right? So do you give it points for do you give it points for the accessibility, or do you knock it for the fact that it's just another car?
Well, clearly, I think all three of us look upon exclusive or limited edition cars as like a bonus. You typically pay more for them, so you're paying for exclusivity. So I would say if a car is readily available, it then detracts from any value you assign it, right? I mean, that's kind of common sense.
Yeah, I mean,
because at a certain point, I don't want to drive it if it's that exclusive.
Well, that's a valid argument too. When you buy a collector car, you tend to want to keep it perfect. And the second you pull a car onto the road, it's a matter of time before you get your first rock chip or scratch or scuff. It's just not possible to keep a car pristine and drive it. So
do you think any of these cars give anyone status besides the high school kids at Cars and Coffee?
Yeah, I mean, when you go to, hopefully there'll be a Spring Fest this year after COVID took care of last year's, and I intend to go and cover it for the magazine if they hold one. And, if there's a super stock there or a Demon there, there's usually a crowd of guys, and those are the faithful. Those are challenger guys, and they ascribe some, holy grail sort of attribute to those cars. So if they do, I think, in general and exclusively, it's not every day you see a ZL1 on the street. You see a ton of Camaros in Southern California. I mean, over the years that they've offered the ZL1, I've probably seen about 30 or 40 of them on the street.
How often have you seen a ZR1,
Yeah, I mean, that's rare too. And I've yet to see a GT500 on the street. So
seen one,
Yeah, I haven't seen any. So, I mean, amongst the faithful, these cars matter. To the average guy who doesn't know a red eye from an RT Challenger, no, it doesn't make a difference at all. To normal people, what makes a difference is a brand. Like if they see a Ferrari, badge on a car, that's exclusive to them. You know, to most people, a Hellcat is just a Dodge, right? I mean, that's.
I think that ties into. I think that ties into what Greg and I were talking about a little bit before. This is almost like that X factor, right? Like it's
your own personal feeling, like.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you know, owning you know, a GT500 would be a big deal. It's an expensive car for my, you know, station in life, and it certainly doesn't look like a you know, a six-cylinder, a V6 Mustang. It's got all the wings and scoops and stance and stuff like that. So if, yeah, I mean, that would be a big deal to me, but to the average person, it's not. I mean, you have to be a car guy to get it. Just like, I mean, you have to be an art guy to appreciate the difference between, you know, a Renoir and, you know, Joe Smith's painting of dogs playing poker, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to be an art guy to appreciate that. You have to be a watch guy to appreciate Vacheron Constantine or a Rolex Daytona versus a Timex. It's what you're into in this world, and that dictates what you're willing to pay for something. And these are expensive cars. I mean, whoever thought like Dodge, you know, would be building $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 cars? Whoever thought that Ford could actually sell, you know, a $90,000 Mustang? You know, just 10 years ago, that would have been considered absurd to pay close to six figures for a Mustang. So
yeah, you're not kidding. That's, yeah,
it's crazy. But you know, we've gotten into the realm of seven, in the case of the Challengers and the GT500, you're well into the realm of 700 horsepower cars, which 10 years ago was unheard of. You know, you'd have to buy a Lamborghini to get 700 horsepower and spend $300,000. So it's relative, but to answer your question, I think ultimately these are not exclusive cars, and they, you know, on that basis, I mean, none of them should score more than a 3.
Well, you nailed it for the ZL1 for me, but I do think that the others will get a higher score.
Well,
yeah, when we're talking about like that X factor, that whatever, you know, for personally, like what makes it cool. Yeah, that's a tough one to score. Rob, you give it a 3.
I give it a 3. I give the ZL1.
Greg, you give it a 3. I guess all things considered, like I'd probably land somewhere around there, right in the middle, 3. It's an awesome car, and you guys know me, I'm a Chevy guy. I love Camaros, so they're really cool. But you know, I have to stack them up against the other two. So yeah, I got to give it a 3. Which leaves us with looks. And Rob, I know that this was a big sticking point for you on this episode because of that wing and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would, you know, outfit the car my own way if I was purchasing this, and I probably would not do the track package, so I wouldn't have a problem with a wing. I think the way to do this is to compare it to the other two cars, and I have my personal preferences on that. So out of the 3 cars, give it a 4. I'd be generous and give it a 4, only because I think the 2 cars that we're going to build later in this series are better looking cars. I prefer, I mean, the Challenger above all. I think the retro design is tops in my book, and I really like the way the GT500 looks. I would definitely own a GT500 if given if given the chance. And of the three, this is like my least favorite design. Now, that's not to say I don't think it's an attractive car. I think what Chevy has done to the front fascia, and especially the tail lights in this gen, I really like. And as we've said, they've steadily improved the interior quality and design throughout these generations. So yeah, I'll give it a generous 4. I could have gone in the 3s, but I'll give it a 4.
Fair enough.
I'm at a 4.5, and the only reason the only reason it's at a 4.5 is so I can give the GT500 a 5. But I this car is, if Chevy was going to win me with something, this would be it.
Really?
Just based on exterior looks.
Over a Corvette?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is beautiful.
The ZL1 is hot, like period. End of story. Especially in white, like he pulled up the white, ZL1 photos. There is something about that car. I don't know what it is, but just the looks of it. Yeah. So I give it a conservative 4.5.
Vinny?
Yeah, this might surprise you guys, but I'm actually going to come in lower than Greg and give it a 4, because like you, Rob, comparing it to the other two is what makes this difficult for me, right? So I think for me, it outscores the Challenger, but only slightly, because I really love that wide body. But it's a smaller, tighter car, and it's more aggressive, and the front fascia is it's got that big open grille, the really cool LED lights underneath the headlights, or the DRLs, that scoop that we talked about on the hood earlier. As much as we poked fun at that spoiler, you can get it without one, or you can't get it without one, but you can take it off. Overall, even the interior design, I like a lot. It's got a really aggressive stance. So it lands somewhere in the middle for me. But that GT500 really reigns supreme as far as looks are concerned, especially with the carbon fiber package. And I don't want to give too much away about that episode, but good Lord, with those carbon fiber wheels and the carbon fiber spoiler, I mean, it's literally, for me, the best looking Mustang they've ever made.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I mean, this is clearly not an unattractive car. I think Chevy's really done a good job, as I said, like improving the car over these past successive generations since they reintroduced the Camaro. And if you look at this compared to the Camaros from the 90s, and
I love the IROC, but yes.
Oh man, those cars were dreadful.
They're in a different class. They can't even be compared.
No.
I mean, I like the way the 4th gen looks. I do.
Yeah, I mean, American car making has clearly in the past 20 years improved more than probably any other nation's manufacturers. I mean, they've really caught up to Japanese and European cars in terms of interior refinement, performance, all the things that American cars used to get slagged for. Look at a 90s Mustang, the interior was 100% plastic, and the cheapest plastics they could get away with. And clearly that's not the case anymore in any of these 3 brands that we're going to review. So
dude, you don't have to tell me. I've got a 94 parked right in front of my 2020.
Yeah, I know.
It goes.
I was looking at this weekend. I was messing with it. They're not the same car. They shouldn't have the same name. I mean, that's going a little far.
Yeah, but if you go even further back, like I told you all, my first car was a Fox body LX. I mean, that was a rolling piece of crap. I loved it to death. It was my first car, and I did amazing trips and stuff, and I drove from New York to Florida once in that car, but it was a piece of garbage. I mean, by today's standards, it wouldn't even rank as like an entry-level car in terms of refinement and stuff.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, Rob. Like, You could buy any brand new car nowadays, any brand new car. I don't even know of any cars that come with crank windows anymore. I don't think that's a thing anymore, right? Like,
No.
so just auto manufacturers in general have, as a whole, stepped their game up. You could go buy
But American.
Yeah, because I've got to throw this out there. When I dropped my block off at Rob, my father-in-law Rob, not Rob, at his house, he just got some interior pieces for his 79 928. Dude,
Love that car.
come on. Like, both of it, because he's got two 928s. Both of those cars, their interiors, I mean, even today
it's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
The 928 was my favorite car growing up as a kid. I mean, I had the posters. I had.
Is that the pop-up lights?
Yeah, the Porsche
Circular or square?
circular.
Those are cool.
Yeah, and they're just now actually, it's interesting you bring this up, Greg, because I read a lot about those cars still, because they're still a favorite of mine. I'd love to add one to my collection one day.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. No.
Why? Because they're a pain in the ass?
They're a pain in the ass. They're just incredibly expensive for anything you want. I mean, something that would be a normal car, it's $150, it's $1,500 bucks.
Yeah, well, it's going to get even worse, because I was just about to say they're now entering the fray of collectible Porsches. People, all the good 911 models have been snapped up, and now people are turning their attention to.
You can get a really, really, really nice one with only 53,000 miles on it for $19,000.
Yeah, but that depends on the model. The later 928s, like right before they did away with the model, like the 94s, they had graduated up to like a 300 and some odd horsepower engine. Those cars are much more valuable than, I'm guessing, the car you're looking at, which was probably an 84, 85.
Well,
this is a 93.
Oh, really? Well, that's a pretty good deal, because the final version was called the 928 GTS. And I see those in the $100,000 range already.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, those cars were $100,000 cars when they were new. Like they were not cheap. They were not.
Yeah, and they were state of the art. I mean, they were the Porsche for people who actually wanted a car that was comfortable, that made sense, that you could put more than, a tiny little briefcase in the trunk. They were a GT.
How much were these brand new?
Well, it depends on the year, but like Greg is right, the latter cars, like the 94s, were over $100,000 new.
Like I feel like Rob, because Rob has a 79 and an 83, and the 79 is a Euro, but
Spec.
it came over from Stuttgart. Like, I don't know how, but
the Euros had a more powerful engine.
Yes, they did, and had just some other, like, I guess, different headlights that he didn't get because it was federalized when it came over. But his 83, I think he said, was like a $57,000 car, because it was not optioned very well. Like it wasn't the high tier. But even then, $57,000 in 83 and 84, what did that buy you? Like, look,
well, it bought you a V8, and by today's standards, an underpowered V8, it was about 240 horsepower. But I will tell you, in 1985, Car and Driver did its best performing car issue, and in 1985, the 928S was the fastest car you could buy new in America. It had a top speed of 155 miles an hour.
Yeah, because it's got like those 283 gears, so it doesn't get out of its own way.
Exactly.
But oh my God, once it gets going, it will. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a 5-speed 928 by today's standards is slow, but by that era's standards, it was an extremely fast car.
Yeah, but in that same era, I could have bought a Ferrari 308 GTB for the around the same price.
That's the point.
And I would have bought the Ferrari.
Yeah, these cars were not what their prices today would suggest, even though they're going up.
Yeah. There was no car in that era. There was no equivalent whatsoever to the cars we're pricing out. Meaning like muscle didn't really exist in those days, except for rare models like a GNX or something like that. There was no Mustang that you could get in those days with a turbo or with a supercharger. There was a turbo version of the Fox body Mustang that they called an SVO, but it just was milquetoast, you know. So today, American
you could have got a ZR1.
That SVO is a badass
not in the
vehicle.
80s. There wasn't a ZR1 in the 80s.
Early 90s.
Early 90s. What was the first year? 93?
93 or 94, I think.
Yeah. But, you know, in the era we're talking about, like of the 928, those cars and a Ferrari 308, those cars outperformed any American car you can buy. And now we're at the point for under $100,000, you can buy a car that will hang at a drag track with a Lamborghini Aventador.
Oh yeah, beat it.
See? That's what I mean, that America has stepped up more than any other nation when it comes to auto manufacturing.
Yeah, but that's also because we ran into so many issues with like Ralph Nader and like, you know what I mean? Like all these emissions and California, or the Air Resources Board. And, you know, so we were really hamstrung for a while there, right?
And there was the oil embargo in the early 70s that really, you know, set American manufacturers on the wrong course. They went from 500 horsepower Hemi engines to the top engine in like the CUDA lineup was like a 360 or something, which put out under 300 horsepower. You know, because of the oil embargo, because of Ralph Nader, because of the EPA. And it just sort of, that mindset that Detroit felt that we all wanted compact, high gas mileage cars lasted far longer than it should have, because clearly by the 80s we didn't want that.
Yeah, but then in the 80s we get things like the Omni GLH and stuff like that. I love little 80s, you know, shitbox hatchbacks.
Yeah, how about the Shelby Daytona? That was a car, you know, from the 80s, but they were milquetoast in terms of performance.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they're still
those two words shouldn't even be like, those vehicles and performance should not be used in the same sentence. They're just
but there's a context, because like that Shelby Daytona, as far as American cars were concerned at that time, was a breakthrough car. I remember Car and Driver or Road and Track called it the best car of the year or something. And, you know, you look at it now, it's a piece of crap. But
it was a piece of crap then too. And, you know,
standards were different.
I don't know who wrote those articles, but I'll just leave it at that. But I mean, Shelby hated that car. He wanted his name taken off of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
they weren't performance,
but he didn't, because they gave him so much money that he just shut the F up, right? So,
wow,
they paid him for that name.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we finished scoring this ZL1. We got to do the Hellcat, and we got to do the GT500.
Do we do a total in terms of how it scored?
We can.
Because we got to do each person's and then divide by the cost, right? That's how we're gonna do value.
Yeah. So, Greg, you want me to like read these off, or how do you want to do this?
I figured you were plugging them into like an Excel sheet.
No, I should have been.
All right, let me get the calculator. I can do mine real quick because I have it written down.
Hey, what was Rob, your uncle or cousin?
He's Jamie's dad, so my father-in-law, basically.
Oh, your father-in-law. If he ever wants to give someone a ride in his 928, you know who to.
Oh, dude, you ever want to come up? He would be more than happy to.
Dude.
Like, we can be doing anything. He's like, you want to go out in the 928? And I'm like, no, I really don't, dude. Because...
Dude, I might have a road trip in my future just to hang out with you and get a ride in that. In that 928.
Yeah.
Are you more of a Porsche guy, or a different type of exotic?
Different type of exotic. Porsche doesn't really offer anything that really excites me right now. Yeah. I mean, believe me, I'd take a 911 Turbo S in a heartbeat, but the
The
design.
GT3 RS could, I mean, that would pique my interest, but I'm not exactly a Porsche guy.
Yeah, but for that kind of money, there are other cars that I would gravitate towards. I love the new Ferrari Roma, is exquisite. The super fast 812 is my end all be all car right now as far as currently made cars. The Aston Martin Vantage I love.
Have you seen the new Aston Martin?
The Valkyrie, their
No,
F1 derived car.
No, it's maybe that's what it's called.
The naturally aspirated 1,000 horsepower one.
No.
That's the Valkyrie is based on, it's a collaboration with Red Bull Racing from Formula One. And they built a
because I did an article on, I think it was the Aston, the naturally aspirated 1,000 horsepower production engine.
Valkyrie. Yeah. I also love Mercedes makes that GT that kind of looks like a Gullwing from the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
AMG GT, that's a hell of a car. There's so many cars that I would prefer over a Porsche. And also, when you're spending that kind of money, Porsches are a dime a dozen in Los Angeles. They're really not exclusive. So if you're looking for exclusivity, it's the wrong car. A Ferrari will always beat a Porsche in that department.
Let's say, so let's say you had like a budget of 350 grand. What's the car you would go searching for?
350 grand. I'd probably gravitate towards a Ferrari. You could get a Roma for that. I don't think you could get an option, the 812 Superfast for that, but you could get the F8 Tributo, which is the mid-engine. And it's also the mid-level model in the Ferrari lineup for that. I'd gravitate.
I'm asking you all of this because, as you know, we intend to do similar episodes like today, but with things like the Corvette, and there really are no domestic competition.
You're gonna have to compare it to a Ferrari and then Aston Martin. So
exactly. So, yeah. Greg, are you ready for me to give you these numbers?
Yeah, because the way I did this was I used $77,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll use mine as an example. So my total up to 25.5 points. So dividing 77,000 by 25.5, I got $3,019.6 per point.
Okay.
So then we'll have to compare. So obviously this is a lower is better number. So go ahead and give me yours.
Okay. So horsepower, I gave it a 3. We'll just say power output. I gave it a 3. Handling, I gave a 4.5. Comfort, interior amenities, I gave it a 4. Performance, quickness, 0 to 60, stuff like that, I gave it a 4.2. Price, I gave it a 4.8. And X factor / exclusivity, availability, all that good stuff, I gave it a 3. And looks, I gave it a 4.
Okay, so let me total that up. You got 4.5 plus 4 plus 4.2. A lot of 4s here. 4.8 plus 3 plus 4.
I do like the Camaro, man. What can I say?
Okay, so you actually rated it a 27.5. So you were 2 points ahead of me.
Okay.
So,
and thankfully you recorded my numbers.
Yeah, and then give me Rob's.
Okay, so starting at power numbers, Rob gave it a 3. Handling, Rob gave it a 4. Comfort, convenience, Rob gave it another 4. Performance, we were at 3.5. Price, 4.5. X factor / availability exclusivity, Rob gave it a 3. And looks, he gave it a 4.
Okay, so I just did that math in my head, and it sounds like he came in at 25 even. Let me check with the calculator to see if my brain did good math. Plus 4 plus 4 plus 3.5 plus 4.5 plus 3 plus 4.5. 26.5. My brain is way off.
Okay.
Okay. So you rated it the highest. We're 1 point difference each total.
That's interesting.
Okay.
And so Rob came in at 26.5. So if we do the point per dollar or dollars per point, would be we're gonna go 77,000 divided by 25. Oh, no, that's me. 27.5. So you're $2,800 per point.
Who is? I am.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so Vinny thinks it's a much better value than I do since we bookended. So Rob is going to be 26,000, and Rob's at 2905. Okay, so we have these numbers to compare when we go forward with the other three.
Well, that was successful, and dare I say, not as much bickering as as we usually experience. So.
Well, I'm actually, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised that I came in so low on this.
Yeah, I thought you were going to come in higher too. I thought we were going to be closer.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think I was going to be the lowest of the three on this. Because I don't think I was harsh on it at all.
No,
I don't think
like
any
you're
of us
fair.
was particularly harsh on it. I mean, I tried really hard to keep my personal biases out of this, because I don't all three of these cars. We should make that clear. They're all awesome cars, and they're all fun as hell to drive. So the key is we should all try and keep our biases, out of it and just, straight up, deliberate based on, the values that the car exhibits. So it doesn't, I'm not surprised that we're all kind of close here. It remains to be seen if we'll feel that way about the other two.
Yeah.
So
agreed. Well, that was fun, you guys.
Yeah,
I can't wait to do the ones in the future. It's gonna be cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, just in that vein of thought that we were talking about a moment ago, we were comparing Porsches and Ferraris and stuff. I did want to ask you, Rob, about two of my favorite Ferraris. And which one is your favorite? Do you prefer Testarossa or that 308 that we were talking about earlier?
308. Even though the Testarossa was a V12 and was a markedly faster car, the 308s were not at any point, even when they made it into a 328, by bumping up the displacement and adding injection and stuff like that. It was still a mediocre performing car, but the 308 was one of the best looking Ferraris ever designed. It was a Pininfarina masterpiece. And I always thought that Testarossa was kind of tacky 80s, with those side strakes. It was
That's why it's awesome.
That's why I liked it. Was because it was so kind of ridiculous.
You had a Testarossa plastic model,
and it just shows, that just shows where we are on things like carbon fiber track packages and stuff. I always like the understated one, and the 308 was far understated compared to the Testarossa. No. But if I had to pick one Ferrari, well, two Ferraris out of all time are my end-all be-all favorites. The car that most people refer to as the Ferris Bueller car.
Oh, yeah.
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California short wheelbase is my ultimate Ferrari. Sadly, those are trading for about $20 million these days.
Then you should have a collector and a driver.
Yeah, and my other favorite Ferrari of all time, they did a racing version of the 308 that was absolutely exquisite, and the numeration just flew right out of my head. It was it came out at the same time as it was the 288 GTO. which looked a lot like a 308. It was built on the 308 design, but had an unbelievable engine in it. Was capable of close to 200 miles an hour back in the 80s. That's one of my favorite Ferraris of all time as well. And people knock me for it because it came out at the same time as the infamous F40, which is most people's favorite Ferrari. But I actually like the 288 GTO better.
I had an F40 Model 2 with the Testarossa, but the Testarossa I think would win, not only because of that, but Miami Vice. Come on.
Yeah. So I had to work for Don Johnson's.
Well, hey, Rob, we know you got to run. We won't keep you too much longer. We'll let you take off. But thank you so much, as always, for coming on the show and doing this with us.
And thank you for having me. I always have a ball. I love you guys. And I'll see you next time. All right?
All right.
For sure, brother. Later.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Hi, I'm Jim McElvain from Optima Batteries, and I'm here today to talk about why batteries aren't made like they used to be. You've heard people say that, and it's true. Batteries aren't made like they used to be made. They're made better than ever, but people are still having battery problems. So why is that? Because new vehicles are more demanding than ever on their batteries. I came out here in a Chevrolet Silverado that had air-conditioned seats, it had satellite radio, it had Wi-Fi, it had OnStar, it had all kinds of stuff. And you need strong batteries to power all that. So the batteries they're putting in vehicles today are sometimes 30% bigger than the batteries they put in 10, 15, 20 years ago. So what can you do to extend and maximize the performance of your battery regardless of the brand? Use a battery charger or maintainer. Use it once a month. This is the Optima Digital 400 charger and maintainer. Anybody can use it. It's no spark technology, so you won't hurt yourself using it. Positive on positive, negative on the ground, that's it. It'll do the rest. Take care of your battery, it'll take care of you and your vehicle.
And we're back. So, Greg, this episode was a lot of fun. As you know, we're going to do a lot more of these. But this was like our test bed with this new scoring system. What do you think?
I think it's going to work. I think we might have to tweak it a little bit, but I think we may not have to tweak it a little bit. Like I said, I'm pretty surprised at how it came out with this, because I thought I would be a little bit nicer, I guess, to the ZL1.
I was not surprised by the results. I was surprised after like building it and hearing your responses and your scores. I thought that your overall score would have reflected that. Yeah, you're right. A little bit higher. But as far as where we all stand, you're on the end of less value. I'm on the high end of value, and Rob's right in the middle. I could have guessed that from the beginning. But it's nice to be able to like quantify it. It's cool.
Yeah. That basically puts numbers that show what we already know just by knowing each other, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if it holds true for the next two that we build, that Hellcat and the GT500. Because as much as I like the Hellcat, I really think that for me, the GT500 is going to win out, even though it's so expensive.
Yeah, I do. That price is going to be hard to make the numbers work. I'm not going to lie. Like, looking at the way this worked, I don't think the GT500 is going to win dollar to our point system wise. I don't.
That's a good point. I think maybe you're right, but as far as like which car I like the best, that one wins out. But if I give the thing all fives, then who knows?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward.
Yeah. If you're at home, let us know again in the comment section below how you would rank each car, what scores you would give them based on the criteria that we provided in the beginning of the episode. I think the scoring system worked pretty well. If you guys see room for improvement, drop the comment in the comment section below, and we'll definitely take it into consideration for future episodes, because we're going to do this a lot more with different types of cars, sport compacts, trucks, all kinds of different vehicles. And we might have different guests on who specialize in different types of vehicles. So if there's somebody that you might want to see on an episode in the future, please let us know who that is, and we'll reach out to them. I do want to take a quick moment, Greg, to thank our sponsors. Of course, that's Performance Distributors, ProCharger, ARP, Liqui Moly, Silver Sport Transmissions, Holly Performance Brands, Optima, Performance Online, and of course, our title sponsor, Lucas Oil. So if you're looking for anything in the aftermarket arena or some maintenance products, go check out their websites. You can find them in the link in the description below. And yeah, so thank you guys, because without them, we couldn't do the show. And without you guys, there would also be no show. So thanks for tuning in. Greg, I know this episode went a little bit long. So as we kind of wrap up, do you have anything in the works for the people that they should go check out on Engine Labs?
Actually, not Engine Labs, but we need them to go look at the other video we posted today. Apparently, the winner of our giveaway doesn't want his stuff because he never reached out to us.
Yeah. We had a lot of new subscribers, right? So the winner, he never hit us up, and we put a time limit on it because frankly, we got to get this thing, we got to give it away. So, it's past the time limit. Greg, how are we going to decide this?
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a second chance drawing. So if anybody who can hear this, you don't have to do anything but send an email to, I wrote it out, to rodcastlive@gmail.com. Just all it has to say is, I want, performance distributor. I want a distributor. I want whatever, just something indicating that you want to be in the second chance drawing. And then what we'll do is we'll compile all those, and then we will run the same random number generator once. We'll give it 1 week for everybody to get in. So you have until the 24th of June to send your emails in, and then we will random number generate and send you an email and make the announcement.
That was like kind of one of the flaws in the giveaway that we've figured out now, that YouTube unfortunately doesn't allow us to reach out directly with like a message to the people who were subscribing. We can interact via comments, but as far as like emailing the winner, like, hey, how do we send this to your address? It doesn't really offer that. So this helps us out. If you guys send us an email, then we know, and that's your entrance into the drawing.
Yeah. So if you want something, let us know. Like I said, it's rodcastlive@gmail.com.
And for those of you who don't know what you're entering to win, it's a Performance Distributors ignition system, whether it's a coil packs or a DUI distributor. Go back and watch that giveaway video and you'll know what we're talking about. With that, I think it's a good time to end the episode. As always, check us out on Fridays at noon on both Facebook and YouTube. Go to streetmusclemag.com, enginelabs.com, powerautomedia.com. Check out all of our social media channels. And please hit that subscribe button. Peace.